In Shakespeare's play, Hamlet, the protagonist of the play is Hamlet. Within the play, Hamlet is represented as a man who is struggling in life because of his father's recent death. Hamlet was first created in 1609 by William Shakespeare and recreated by Gregory Doran in 2009. He is stripped of most of his family and friends, and the only one who's still got his back is Horatio, who loves him unconditionally. The movie was slightly modified from the play to account for the audience, which is a lot more modernized than the audience that when Shakespeare performed the play. Hamlet is an influential character to the audience and states that he should have been thrown rather than Claudius, who committed treason. The play modifies the meaning slightly through different settings of the movie to account for the modernizing audience that is watching it. For example, in the scenes where Claudius is overlooking the hall in the kingdom, cameras are placed to create a representation that Claudius is watching every move that Hamlet makes. In Act 5, Scene 2, Hamlet is at the point where he's getting his revenge for Claudius killing his father and ends up getting poisoned himself, but he is pleased with what he did as he still lived up to what his father wanted him to do. The play represented this scene in a much less dramatic way by adding in extra lines and changing the set for the scene to fit the newer age audience. The play uses Old English as the language and way that the characters would speak. The same concept is brought over to the movie representation, but some extra lines are added into the movie to add more suspense. Throughout the movie, Hamlet is seen to be putting on an act, and at some points it's not possible to tell whether he's being himself or not. In his speech, "To be or not to be," the first line expresses how he feels, that he is thinking about life and death, alive and dead, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep. Act 3, Scene 1. Hamlet is stating that he wants to get revenge on Claudius for murdering his father, and the only way he can do that is killing Claudius himself. This speech that Hamlet makes is what defines the character he truly is, bringing to light a different persona of himself, which is crazy. This makes it unclear to the audience if he is putting on an act or if he is being himself, which causes his character to seem out of his mind. He experiences spirits from the dead talking to him, which in Elizabethan time, supernatural occurrences were experienced with bad people. While communicating with the supernatural realm, Hamlet is confronted by a spirit of his dad, which convinces him to murder Claudius. Hamlet had opportunities to kill Claudius, but stopped himself right before. For example, Claudius was praying, and Hamlet snuck behind him and was about to stab him, but stopped himself, as if he killed Claudius, he would have gone to heaven since he was praying at the time. Hamlet is seen as a humble man who seeks his revenge for his father's death. Act 1, Scene 3. He finds himself stuck in a state of mind where he continuously wants to avenge his father and murder Claudius. He is the protagonist of the play and movie, and the focus for the movie is on him. In most scenes of the movie, it is either other characters talking about Hamlet and plotting something, or the scene is focused on the character of Hamlet. The director, Gregory Doran, strategically places Hamlet in the scenes and makes sure he is a recurring character, which shows him being himself. For example, when Claudius is looking through the cameras in the main hall and Hamlet is talking to himself about what he should do without realizing that anyone is hearing what he's been saying, then he obstructs the cameras. Hamlet was represented almost perfectly from the play to the movie. Even when the lines were differed slightly, his body language expressed the same meaning as the original. In Act 5, Scene 1, Hamlet is set in the background of the burying of Ophelia's body, carefully listening to everything that is being said. In the play, this is portrayed slightly differently, but portrays the correct meaning. Hamlet is whispering to Horatio that he needs to stop the burial and forces himself to have an argument with Claudius. The play was originally created to be watched by Elizabethan people, but was recognized, and Shakespeare's English was extremely talented and is still one of the most famous writers of all time. His play Hamlet has been recreated many times as movies which replicate most events from the play, while adding extra parts to suit the audience which is now being presented to. Hamlet is the protagonist of the story and is portrayed nearly identically as the play represented him. Small changes such as extending of the scenes and adding extra lines to the play adds more suspense and reason to watch. Thank you for listening.